Listen, we've been speculating that this could be a possibility. And away we go at the start of free agency.
Fast and furious.
Welcome in Russell Wilson to the 412. He is a member
I think he's a perfect fit. A perfect fit there.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Get it, Var.
That's right.
It's the Russell Wilson.
Fox Sports 970 in Pittsburgh. You got yourselves a brand new quarterback.
It's the Russell Wilsons. Let them cook and let Russ cook. No, don't say them names. Say Russell Wilson now.
Russell Wilson signing the one-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Broncos are going to be paying him about $38 million of the $39 million that he's going to be getting this upcoming season. So at $1 million and change, I think it is.
1.2.
Why the hell wouldn't you do this if you're the Steelers?
What a deal for the Steelers. Is this not like the perfect scenario?
It's great.
Russell goes to a team that's like looking for that quarterback to get them back to a chance of hoisting up a Lombardi, and Russell's looking for the perfect situation for a team that can get him there or help him get him there, and he doesn't have to do everything. This is it, man. This is it. Arthur Smith, that offense with Russell Wilson. I'm excited to see what this team's going to be this year, but woo, AFC North, baby. That's just... Oh, man, what a tough division.
I mean, my first thought was, dang, you got an all-black quarterbacks AFC North division now.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that hit me. I was like, dang. You know,
I see what you're doing with Joe Burrow. I see what you're doing.
That's my quarterback. That was the first thing that hit me. Like, dang, whole bunch of brothers running around. Now. All right. We got you. We took over the North.
You guys took Burrow, huh?
Yeah, we take him. We accept him.
The way he dresses, man.
Yeah, well, the way he does a lot of things. He's one of us. But you know, I thought this was a boom bust scenario. Like, I couldn't believe that it really played out. You know, I heard you guys say it, and it's like I ran it through my mind, and I was like, you know, maybe not. I don't know.
LaVar, you didn't like it.
I don't like it. I still don't like it. And here's what I'll say. Right? You paid a guy $1.2 million. And in reality, and I know some people will think I'm crazy for saying this, because to some people, $1.2 million is a lot of money. And I get that. It is a lot of money. But it's not a lot of money for an elite quarterback in the National Football League. So you're bringing him in and you're expecting him to be an elite. First, let me say, you've now effectively maybe fractured the relationship with Kenny Pickett.
Fractured.
Okay. Destroyed it. Put it to bed. And you're basically saying the guy that can be the savior of our team is, making the same amount as you? I mean, how much is Kenny Pickett making? He might be making more than 1.2 next season. I just think that if you were going to bring in a guy that you feel is of the caliber and the level that's going to take you to the Super Bowl, back to the Super Bowl, get Mike Tomlin back to where he's trying to go, I don't think that you pay him a minimum deal. I just don't. I think that you take it at market value is what I would say. So for you to undervalue him,
you're mad because they're not paying him more?
Huh? I'm not mad that they're not paying him more. No, I'm mad that they paid him anything.
You think?
That's what I'm mad at. If I'm being honest, I mean.
By the way, Kenny Pickett's cap hit this season is $3.8 million. They obviously spread out his signing bonus, which takes up about 1.8 of that, and then 1.9 in base salary. So
he's making more than Russ.
Technically, from the Steelers, he will be getting paid more on the books than Russ this year.
Which I don't foresee. And I also felt like Kenny Pickett will get another opportunity to play if Russell Wilson doesn't play well, for the simple fact that they're not paying him very much. I feel like the only thing that's saving Mike Tomlin here is that you didn't have to pay that much money. So people could sit there and say, you know, decision makers could say, it was a hit or miss. We didn't pay him that much money. He didn't pan out. Moving on, we'll draft the quarterback, whatever it may be, and then the clock starts. But then there's another part of me that says you're making a definitive statement. What I heard you say at the beginning of the show, Q, is that you're in a win-now mode, right?
Hell yeah. Aren't they always in a win-now mode?
I mean, yeah, but there's sometimes you're in win-now with the idea of we're building towards winning it all, whereas I think the Steelers are in a win-now scenario, meaning win now where they're possibly going to blow this thing up. Yeah. And I don't know that this doesn't speed up the process of if this doesn't work out with Russell Wilson, it's not effectively one quarterback that didn't work out. It's two. It's Kenny Pickett, who you drafted as your high draft pick, and now you've alienated him with this move that you've made. And then it's Russell Wilson. You brought him in here, and it didn't work out. Now, this is just saying it didn't work out. But on the positive side of it, I would say if Russell Wilson balls out in the AFC North, he will have redeemed himself, and he would have totally have redeemed himself if he balls out in the North. I just don't see how that's going to happen, though.
I love this for Pittsburgh for this reason. I mean,
oh, yeah, you do.
No, look, combined last year, their quarterbacks had 13 touchdown passes. All right, combined. Now, didn't we say Russell Wilson had, first off, he got benched with a few games to play?
Yeah.
And didn't we say he had a down year last year?
Yeah.
He still threw 26 touchdown passes.
A lot.
I'm just saying, this gives them the boost that they're looking for. His improvisational skills, which I think we saw him last year kind of bring some of that back. It seemed like under Nathaniel Hackett, it's like he just wanted to play from the pocket. He didn't want to have to do any of that. Well, it didn't work out too well. And then Sean Payton gave him a dose of reality. Hey, man, this is what makes you special. This is what can make you be a player that can be talked about as part of the MVP conversation like we saw during portions of his career in Seattle. Go back to that. It's almost like you're trying to make yourself into something that, it's hard to do at this point in time in your career at 30, 35, going on 36 years old. So I think for Russell Wilson at his age, this is like an all-in thing. I don't know how long he wants to play, but to your point, if this doesn't work out for him this year,
oh, it's a wrap.
It's done. I mean, he's not going to be looked at as a starter.
Not as a starter.
Maybe as a backup, right? A guy who can come in and be the insurance policy they're looking for. So I love it from that standpoint because everyone's aligned. I look at Mike Tomlin, the Steelers, they're like, we're going all in. Russell Wilson's like, hey, man, I'm all in. It doesn't cost them much. And I think they're going to get improved production and able to maximize what they have on their roster. I'm not trying to make too much of him as being the high tide that raises all boats, but Freiermuth becomes more a part of the conversation, right? The tight end spot. I think the receivers are going to benefit in a big way. Pickens, Deontay Johnson, if he's still on the roster. Whoever else they want to add to this roster. You start going through and going, if last year was a down year for Russell Wilson at 26 touchdown passes. By the way, his worst year was 2 years ago with Nathaniel Hackett. He still had, in 15 games, more touchdown passes than the entire quarterback group in Pittsburgh last season combined.
I think Pickett's got 12 in his career, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Since he's been there.
But the greater point just is it doesn't matter who it was. No one was able to do it. Now, look, maybe that's more condemning Matt Canada in that offense. But whatever the case is, he's not there anymore, so it doesn't matter. It's a clean slate. We'll see between Kenny Pickett and Russell Wilson, because with those deals, maybe they legitimately will be competing between the two. But I have a hard time believing it won't be Russell Wilson. There's going to be some things that he can do from his experience and leader, everything else, where he'll be the guy this season, and that makes Pittsburgh a contender, at least in my opinion.